Everyone. I hope you can hear me well. So this is the first time that I'm doing this webinar. I hope it's going to work out in the right way. So please be patient with me if I'll go somewhere where you were not expecting the conversation to go. It's not very used to Zoom. So as Olesya mentioned, I'm Antanana. I am a volunteer member of Wikilove's Monuments Ukraine organizing team, and I'm also a Ukrainian Wikipedia administrator. I can't say that I am particularly copyright, but I do believe that copyright and attribution are very important, especially when we are going outside and trying to convince people to donate their works to our projects. So the plan that I have for today's webinar is who we are in the room, why we organize contests, what is a Wikimedia photo contest, a bit about licenses and copyright in general, just for me not to assume that everybody is on the same page, and licenses and copyright as a tool of recognition, and then questions, if we have time and if you have questions. You can also write in the chat. I'm just not very sure that I would be able to follow in the live, but we can still return to that. So once you have a thought, you can just put it and we can return and then discuss if I do not notice it in real time. So from the registration form, we have less people than registered, but still the projects that people cover are Wikilove's Earth, Wikilove's Monuments, Wikilove's Folklore, Wikilove's Oman, Wikidaheim, I guess. Also, there were future organizers, people who are not organizing yet, but want to, and also just participants and not organizers. I guess people just interested in what to do with the photo contest, or maybe if there are any questions that I can have answered about my works and how they're going to be used on Wikimedia Commons. So I would like to use an opportunity to talk with the people present here. Why do you organize contests if you do? So if you are not yet an organizer of the photo contest, you may skip this question. But for people who are organizing the contests, I would like for you to tell us, why do you think that you are, or maybe you know, why are you organizing contests? Well, Wikimedia photo contests. Just in the interest of time, Jiku.
Hello, I'm Jiku from Moldova. In Moldova, I co-organize Wikilove's Earth and Wikilove's Monuments in order to satisfy a completionist drive, first of all, because I see the lists of protected areas and the lists of monuments. I see them not having images, each one of them, and I will not sleep well until they do.
That's a very Wikipedian approach to organizing. Lists motivate us to do things. I am going to call out on Kasia, who I know is a young organizer, so to say, but why do you take part in organizing the photo contest?
Thanks. That is true. I am a very junior because I'm just organized my first Wikilove's Monuments. And if I am, so I could speak for the organization, but if I'm being completely honest, I organized this because I know the community likes it and we've done it in the past, and I was asked to do it again. So that's a very pragmatic answer on my personal level this year. But I do agree with what was said before of why it's useful as well.
Okay, I can also see Manfred here. Why do you organize photo contests? Two of them.
Hi, hello. I just wrote it in the chat as well. I began as a photographer and contributor and did a little help with the photo contests in Austria back then. And then I started to work at Wikimedia Austria, and our chapter is supporting these contests. It's Wiki Daheim, most of all, which covers Wiki Loves Monuments, Wiki Loves Earth, and all the others in one big contest. So the chapter supports this. And then as I was working there, I started to be part of the team that is organizing it here in Austria. And now I am part of the team of Wiki Loves Monuments International as well. Yeah, that's important. Yeah. Yeah. So I began as a volunteer, and now it's more of, it's part of the job. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Anybody else who would like to share why they are organizing photo contests? Okay. Gilbert? Or Gilbert? I don't know how to pronounce. I cannot hear if you are speaking.
No, I'm sorry. I think it's okay. Okay, thank you. I'm Gilbert from Burundi. I organize contests to contribute to Wikimedia project, and it is helpful for our community to retain our members when contributing. It is also helpful when we are organizing contests to recruit new members and to train them how to contribute to Wikimedia projects. Thank you.
Okay. My next question to you would be, why are people taking part in the contest we organize? What motivates them, and how do you know it? How do you know about their motivation? Is there anybody who would like to speak to that?
I can. As far as I know from the Austrian community, it's first of all, it's their photographers. They want to share their work. They're happy to win something, of course, if there is a prize. They want to contribute. A lot of them are Wikipedia contributors as well. Many times it's only pictures they contribute, but some of them are writers as well, both of it. So I think they want to share their work, and in the context of Wikipedia supporting this project. Yeah, that's what I know of our community. Yeah.
Thank you. And how do you know that?
We are asking them. I know some of them I know personally, a lot of them I know personally in the meantime. We have meetings, or we do some wiki takes actions where we drive somewhere in Austria for a weekend and take pictures there. So we talk with them, ask them, and we have surveys where we ask them. Yeah.
Yeah. There are also people writing in the chat about how this, like a common project, kind of helped to create a user group, how people see a gap and want to document, and how people want to win, as Manfred also mentioned here. Okay. So if I were to describe what is a Wikimedia photo contest without going into too much details, which exactly, it would be a project which can be staff, volunteer-led, mixed, to help collect materials to illustrate or use on Wikipedia or other Wikimedia projects, and thus produce materials under a free license or get them under a free license. That's the important part, because if you want to use them for the project, and usually that's the primary thing, at least I'm not aware of any Wikimedia photo contest that is used to get materials not under a free license, and just, I don't know, just to have them. So, and the very important point there should be that a Wikimedia photo contest is not a Wikimedia project. So even though Wikimedia projects are using free license to host materials, the photo contest that we are organizing might not use free licensed materials, especially like for promotion. And that creates already some kind of tension, because on one hand, the product that we want to get because of our volunteer work or staff work or any other work is going to be under free license, but the means to get to that product might be actually not under a free license. And that's because we are not only concentrated on Wikimedians, even though a lot of contributors are going to be Wikipedians, not in all countries, it actually differs. But in a lot of cases, we actually are concentrated on public, and they don't know about a lot of other things about us. They may be less motivated by lists or gaps, because they don't see the gaps, they don't know what we are missing, unless they are upset about some article. So the motivation is different, and because we want them to get, because we want them to give us what we want, we are kind of trying to also appeal to them in a different way, in a way that is more acceptable to people who are not Wikipedians. So before that, I do want to mention about free licenses. I'm assuming that everybody present knows, but it's just good to remind. This is like a short version, like human readable format explaining what the license is. And the fourth CC by SA Creative Commons share alike license that we are mostly using for uploads of materials during the contest says that you can share and you can adapt the material if you give the attribution. And there is also like mentioning of the appropriate credit and indicated about the indications about the changes. Then of course it's a whole big text, legal text, which actually explains things and is way longer than what you see on the screen. And there is also a mentioning of what it means, appropriate credit, and it kind of talks about reasonable to the medium, means and context. And I think that that's important to keep in mind, even if we are not going to go into details about copyright and the license, just to keep in mind that we are getting from people materials that are under a free license, and they are supposed to be attributed in a certain way, which is also should be reasonable, meaning we are probably not going to mention author and the license if you are going to print pins, right? It might be very difficult. If you are producing, if your organization or you've seen pins with a logo of Wikipedia, we do not usually put there also a license and the author. But I can tell you that when Wikimedia Ukraine was producing sugar sticks with Wikipedia logo, we did mention the trademark and everything, because that means allowed. But that's also a thing, reasonableness. So, and now let's dive in a bit about copyright and about attribution and about licenses and what they matter specifically for our context. And I'm going to give a bit of a disclaimer. I looked through the registration form. I looked for people, for people's affiliations about the projects, and I also looked at the social media that was used in order to see what are the cases and what I would like to draw your attention to about how you are using social media, how we are all using social media, and pictures. So first of all, when I was talking about materials used with the purpose for the contest, would not only be under a free license, and of course some of them would be even copyright and not our copyright, because this is a project that is aimed also at partnering with somebody, at social media, so getting attention, getting engagement, which means that we can have logos of partners, and not every partner is willing to upload their logo to Wikimedia Commons under a free license so that we can use it on our pages. That's why a lot of organizers of the photo contests have social media accounts and have pages on external websites, because you do want to mention a partner. Partner wants you to mention them. So you need to use logos, you need to use information, you need to sometimes use pictures of people to promote, and then you don't know the copyright. You're not going to check, and it's not going to be feasible to just check every person's picture. Do they have a right with that? Can we find it under a free license and everything like that? So it's like too much work that is also not going to produce a lot of benefit after that. So here, I think that most of them or all of them might be even under a free license, but I don't know that, because from a post that is on the social media of Wikilove's Folklore, I just don't know. There is no mentioning of the author. There is no mentioning of the link where I can go and check pictures, for example, or anything like that, right? So in any case, for me, as a person who presents or tries to present, I would need to post this picture together with a link to the Facebook post where it was, because I don't know the copyright and I want to give some kind of attribution so that people would know, or source, where to go and where to find this picture. But again, in a lot of cases, it would be. I think that we as organizers should be more disciplined and always mention either we know where the pictures are or we don't, and then we can just use things like, I don't know, used with permission or something like that, so that people would not think that they are also under a free license, like a lot of other stuff is on our pages. Like, be clear marking materials which are like given to you for PR or like communication purposes, and materials that are yours, or the materials that you are reusing, like pictures from Wikimedia Commons. Here, from Wikilove's Onam, we have an example of a good visual to celebrate the project's results. It mentions the author, license. It also mentions source, Wikimedia Commons. It mentions the logo of the project itself. Sometimes we believe that our logo, like Wikilove's Monuments, for example, just like a logo itself without a text is enough. It might be, but actually for the purposes of the communicating with the audience, it's better if the logo of the project mentions the text, so that people who do not know this project can learn about it. After they read, they can just Google the name of the project and maybe can take part in it. When we are using only like a sphere for Wikilove's Earth, people might not like, oh, okay, I need to go somewhere, Google an image and find. It's might be too much work, but just a name might help. Now, this visual can also be done in a creative way. We in Ukraine usually do it in a more boring way, just, authors and everything, and not as colorful as here, but it can be done. Where here the name of the author and everything and the license, they are not, how to say it, they are not actually, they are becoming a part of a picture. They're becoming a part of the image. They are not standing out. They're like, okay, everything is playing. And again, you might be artistically, you might be wanting something less or more bright, but here is a visual that just gives you all the information, most of the information that you can have, you need in order to find out about the project, in order to find out who was the author and what is pictured. Now, If I go to Wikimedia Portugal's Facebook, I see a lot of information here on this poster. I do not see information about the author of the picture itself. And when we believe that the authors are fine with that, it's not about that. It's not about this particular author is going to be fine that we use their picture without attributing them. This is plainly violating of the license, like of the license agreement, basically. This also does not allow to educate people, public, about, oh, there is like a license. There are like some mysterious letters, and there is a name of the author that we can Google, and we can find other things that this person maybe, produced. So unless this picture is under CC0 or in public domain, this is a violation of the license agreement. And if it is under CC0 or public domain, and then we are just losing an opportunity to educate more people about our projects and about distribution and about the author who contributed the picture. So sometimes people write this information in the post, like in the text, not in the poster itself. But here, actually, the author is not mentioned. It says about what it is pictured. It mentions the license. It mentions the coming from Wikimedia Commons, but the author is still not mentioned. So I can also mention that mentioning authors in the posts rather than on the pictures themselves is not ideal, because pictures can be shared and then the text will disappear. And pictures can be also downloaded. And again, the information is just getting lost. Now, if I go to the website, which the poster invites me to go, in one of the gallery images, I can find this image. But again, it doesn't mention the author. There is a name of the place, but not the author. By chance, I clicked on a picture. I didn't know that it was clickable. I just clicked on it. And I got to Wikimedia Commons, where I was able to finally find the name of the author and the license by which the work is being shared. So, it's a process, and it's a well-hidden information which should not be hidden, which should be celebrated in a way. If we are going to appeal and convince and to motivate people to actually upload to our projects, they are not going to get the same attribution, level of attribution or level of publicity once their picture is on Wikipedia article. They can say, oh, my picture is used on Wikipedia article. But who is going to know about that? There is no attribution visibly on Wikipedia pages. So what we need to do as organizers is to make sure that people feel recognized for their contributions to the humanity, basically. And here is an example of Wiki Daheim. I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. So this is a project that Manfred, of course, can tell us more about, but it's basically a project like Wiki Loves Monuments, but about Austrian municipalities. And you can see a picture where we are celebrating, or a poster where we are celebrating the winner of or some kind of winner of the project, where we mention what it is and who made the picture, and even link to the page itself, and then even the license code, like, the whole link to the license code. And, it's good. I can argue that no one is going to start typing that whole license, and that probably can be used in some other way as a space, but that's a, that's a minor details. Versus another picture on the same page where I don't see mentioning of any author. And probably somebody authored that picture, unless it was under CC0. There is no mentioning of the author.
This one was CC0. I was searching for it, for a CC0 for this purpose. I was looking for a picture that is CC0.
Great.
So we have a shareable, yeah.
Great. But if you would have just put CC0 anywhere on the page,
yeah, that's a good point.
A sub-section of Wikipedians who I don't see, like when I see a picture, I don't see anything there. I see whether it's like, I mean, I don't see a content. I see that it's violating freedom of panorama, or that there is no mentioning of the authors. And then I can enjoy the, I don't know, the beauty of the picture. And here, general public is not going to know that this is CC0. They are going to see and say things that, oh, maybe Wikimedia Austria doesn't care about copyright, because I don't know. So, you know, just like a small, because it's like a waiver, so just a small thing, just going to help people to know that this is not a copyright violation. And there is something like CC0. There would be some people who would actually go and Google and figure out what it is, which is, again, educating people. Now, next one is, here is an example of how attribution can be used and can be put on a picture in a not, you know, not a very prominent way, still there, and you can use it as a part of the image. And one, of course, may argue that there is no need to put a good picture if you are going to put over it a huge banner with, you know, information. That's a different approach. One can also argue that you can just have visuals that are just text and contain information, and then you do not need to worry about the licenses and attributing and influencing the you know, the participants, because some participants can be motivated by seeing. Some participants can be like, oh, I'm not going to upload my pictures. These pictures were like so professional. But also one may argue that when people see the names of friends, there can be more engagement because they can feel proud, even if it is obscured by a, you know, like a huge banner, like it was with Wiki Loves Monuments International. If you've seen Monsters Incorporated, there was a cartoon done. There is a, like the moment for you to like to see, okay, it's obscured. There is a journal issue, magazine issue, and the picture is not having a monster, one of the monsters, but actually like a logo instead of them, and they're still feeling proud because they are on a magazine's cover. This is exciting. You can't see, you don't know, but this is exciting because you know you are there, even if not a lot of people can see the rest of the picture. So I would like to make a case that we as photo contest organizers should treat photo contests that we do as projects as a business. And I would like you not to be alarmed by this term, and I shall try to explain what I mean about that. I believe that in business sphere, and I think it's also true for Wikipedia and for Wikimedia projects, retention of customers is cheaper than their acquisition. It's cheaper to invest in keeping people coming to the project once they already started doing that, rather than figure out how you can find people who are going to be coming to your business from general audience. And in order to do that, we need to know more about what the motivation is for them joining the project, or starting it, or staying in it even for some time, in order to figure out if we can replicate that, make it more prominent, use it in a way that will help us to keep people coming. We always should also look out for new people joining our projects. But if we do not make sure that people come back, then we would need to every time use more resources to try to make them join. So that's from that big thing, starting to think or treating our participants as our customers who are coming to our modest business. Yes, you can win, you can get something. In some countries you can get not a lot. In some countries you can get better prices. Yes, you can compete out of 300,000 pictures, you can compete for an international stage. But chances are, statistically not very good. If you are thinking about the volume of the project, the chances of winning are not very good if you are uploading like one picture, or if you are uploading an average picture. So this motivation is not going to be a big factor in a lot of people's decisions. For some professional photographers, yes, they might be motivated by that because they know their works and they are confident that they can do that. Now, you can make people your return customers by giving them, of course, like there are like whole things written about this from the business perspective, and I think that those of us who are organizing the contest not like for the first time, but who are organizing contests for a period of time or a few times, know that it is also there are a lot of repetitions. There are a lot of things that we do the same. There are already things that we learned. We still are learning new things. But the main thing that people are returning is that they feel good, or at least one of those, that they feel good. They did something good. They donated a picture. This picture might be used in Wikipedia article. This picture might be used by somebody else. This picture might be, documenting something that stopped existing. For example, if monument got destroyed or renovated or something. So people feel good, and that's why there is also this banner at the end of uploading pictures where Wiki Loves Monuments, Wiki Loves Earth, other projects, they are thanking you for doing something good, for uploading your pictures. And if people feel good about doing something, they will return, because a feeling of I'm sharing with somebody else is a strong motivator, for a lot of participants to do it again. Now, you as organizers can also give them a feeling of recognition of their contributions, and attribution is one of the tools that you can do it, because contributing to something so vast as Wikipedia feels sometimes also very nameless, like there are no authors of the pages of the texts. There are no authors of the pictures, basically, because trying to find the author is not a trivial task of a picture, is not a trivial task on Wikipedia. So this recognition that you can give, and you can give, have the tools and means to do that just by mentioning the author, is something that people can be like, oh, like, my work was recognized, my name is there. And those of you who read any business books know that people like hearing their names, People like knowing that they are recognized. So attribution is not a nuisance, not an obstacle. It is a way to show to your customers, so to say, that you respect them, you recognize their contribution, and you do not, of course, violate neither laws nor your own commitment to free knowledge. That's a different thing, but for some participants, it actually matters, for professionals, because if your project does not mention them as the author and mentions the author in the text, for example, of the social media, and then somebody takes that picture and writes about that or use it somewhere on some touristy portal or somewhere, and they would say, we took it from, or we took it from the internet, because yeah, that's a way to like say that it was publicly accessible, then it doesn't have an author. So that's very bad, actually, even for those professional photographers. Their name is their brand. That's what gives them basically bread to their table. So they are interested in the name being prominently shown, or at least not forgotten. If you can, of course, tag them in the picture, that's a different story, but even just having the name is good. So attribution is also a way to educate people about free licenses, as I mentioned before. It might be less important for some countries, and it might be more important for some other countries. Because if, for example, it's a Western democracy, they might know about licenses, they might respect copyright. It's a very different thing in the rest of the world. And I can tell you that in Ukraine, copyright and respect for the copyright is not something that we can be saying that we are proud of. No, people actually treat things that they find on internet as if they are freely available, no authors, they just appeared mysteriously on the internet, and now people are using them. So our caring for attribution on our level, because of course we cannot be responsible for everybody else on the internet not attributing authors in the correct way. Even the authors of our own, who uploaded because of our efforts. But we need to make sure that we can do what we reasonably can, and try to convince people to contribute, that they are not going to be nameless contributors, that they are going to be recognized for the work that they have done. And with this, I wanted to say thank you. I haven't seen anything in the chat, so I don't know if this was a thought that you had, and I was just repeating what you already had, and you think that this is okay, or if you feel that this is something that you would like to contest and say, no, people actually don't care, and people want us just to take their pictures, and they are just happy when we are using them, and they don't want to see their name written and the license mentioned. So as Olesa mentioned in the chat, now we do have some time. I didn't know how long it's going to take. Questions, thoughts, first reactions? Jiku? If you are speaking, you are muted.
Yeah, I couldn't find the button. I like very much your argument about putting the as much as possible, putting the license and author on the image itself as a watermark. When I started doing that for Instagram, I realized that it takes a long time to me as a person that has no experience in design to do that, especially when I plan like in a Wikilove's Monuments iteration, I may need to post like 50 or so images in a month, and manually adding watermark on them, and I use PowerPoint for that. Like you understand the level, is pretty time consuming and frustrating. I'd like to know if like what tools are available for someone like me to do that more easily.
So when I was preparing for the picture of the year, like, you know, a post about picture of the year, and we have like 13 or 12 pictures connected to Ukraine, and we wanted to do them and how to do the attribution. I'm just using Paint just to put the author and the license on the picture. If you want to do it in a nice way, there are tools. I don't know about free tools, and I can check because I know that we are using Canva for that. Meaning people who are more elaborate in using the designing tools. But I know that there is a way that you can write a script. I can check about that. It's just that our designer now is like 30 kilometers from the front line, and we are not trying to to bug him a lot, but I can ask, because I know that we had a problem with that script, just because if you're adding that information, sometimes it's better if it's like below, and sometimes it's better if it's like up, like in the upper way, or sometimes it's better if it's on the left or on the right. So you need to kind of like figure out how to do it. I'll check about that, and I'll back to you. But I agree, this takes time. This actually takes time, and that's why I think that partially people do not do that, because they just don't have time to do that, especially when they need to do it on a regular basis, big volume, and quickly, and a volunteer time when you don't have time to figure out a lot of things and also make it look nice. Did you want to add something? Because you're unmuted.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you.
Okay. I see that there are comments in the chat. I'll try to read them. So there is a question about people using watermarks when they are putting things on commons. I cannot speak for everyone. I know that some people do that because this is the picture they have available now, and as the photographers, they just have their brand name on the materials, and that might be the most easier way to do, right? This is already in some kind of a folder, and you just upload those pictures. So sometimes it happens in this way. Commons doesn't like watermarks, so the removing of them is actually a practice that Creative Commons, at least I was reading their recommendation about mentioning about licensing, and they believe in not putting things on the picture itself, because watermarks on the picture itself, because that stops or makes it less possible for other people to reuse, right? You would need to figure out how to crop it out or how to do it in a different way if you want to use it in a collage or in some other way, which is fine, and this is good for commons. I think that contributing to commons should be without watermark. I'm just thinking, as organizers, should be putting watermarks back on the picture when we are releasing it to the basically hostile platforms to open knowledge, because social media is basically that. They are hostile to open license, the free licenses to open knowledge in a commercial way, but they are not. They're not built on a desire to share free knowledge and open licenses. They have all these restrictions. Some of you might know Diego Delsa. He's usually putting on his pictures that please do not, I think I'm not mistaken, please do not use them on social media or use them in a smaller version because he doesn't want them to build works, right? So, it's it is a double work, but it is something that we should do when we are releasing the pictures back into the back to the public, so to say. Yes, George says that he can confirm that making photos visible to the public is a motivating factor and raising awareness. And Manfred here is giving also tips about Photoshop, GIMP, and yes, Google presentations also can help with PowerPoint. And yes, Olesa is mentioning, because that's what we are doing with our also projects. You develop a template and then you just try to use it for all pictures. Okay, I think that everything that was mentioned in the chat got covered. We have like 8 minutes left. Is there anyone who wants to say something, share something, give another question? For example, for next webinar of this kind, I'm going to be more prepared with the tools that you can use for the how to do the attribution in an easier way that doesn't take up all your life as a volunteer. Manfred?
I wanted to thank you for the emphasis on the licenses and to make them public, to advertise them in public, so to say, because a lot of people out there don't know anything about licenses. They know the copyright sign, the little C in the circle, that's all they know. And they use pictures they find on the internet in any way they want. They don't care often, but creating awareness about Creative Commons is important. Yeah, it's part of the Wikimedia movement as well, in my understanding, to create awareness about the licensing. Yeah, that's important. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I think that we need to think about our project as being a stepping stone for the next project or for the next things that are going to come. The more we teach people and educate how to do things and what are the things that we are doing, the more people may be joining. That's like, investment. You need to do the investment in developing people around you, or like having some culture, like you are different than others. Why? These are the things that make us different. We do respect people's and we do work and we do recognize it. We want them to be recognized. We want to celebrate them. That's it. Maybe George wants to say something, and not only in the chat.
Okay, thank you to give me this opportunity to say something. I have I can say the good experience about different contexts. I can confirm that Wikilove Earth was the first context I coordinate in Cameroon, and this context helped us to create our user group. I want to explain very clearly what I'm saying about that. I apply all the things that Nat says about the way to every time encourage the participant. every context, I have a ceremony, the closing ceremony to give the, for example, the prize, to give the different prize. I sometimes also invite authorities in the culture domain in Cameroon to come and give the prize. This gives to the participant to be very I can say to be very motivated to contribute for the next context, and also to give them to talk about the context to their neighbor, or also some photographer, because the many participants in Cameroon were the photographer. This is, for me, it's very important to support the project, and also to improve the level of the project. Yes, this is what I think. I also want to share something about the licenses, because it's also me, when you talk every time CC BY, we every time say it, but we don't really know. For me, I talk about me, really know what is the meaning of that. CC BY, what is the meaning of that? What, yes, CC BY, what is, we need, sometimes we need to talk more about this different word, the explanation. And yes, we just use it, but we don't know really the meaning of that. Yes. I don't know if it's clear or not. I don't know if it's clear. Yes.
No, I think that I mean, it's very difficult to explain for those who are trying to explain Wikipedia, how it operates, to, like, even on editing. It's very difficult. I think it's also very difficult to explain about licenses, especially to people who do not understand. It's nearly impossible to explain to people about lack of freedom of panorama. For those countries who experience that, I think there was a user once on Ukrainian contest who uploaded a picture of some plaque, and then the picture was supposed to be like, well, there was a deletion request to delete it. So because of the lack of freedom of panorama, so the user cropped just the plaque itself and was saying, there is no panorama now. There is only an object itself. So the term is misleading. The explanations are like, you can see a monument, you can't take a picture of it, or you can take a picture of it, you can't use it. Even though media everybody is using that. But how do you explain to people, and we cannot, or you are going to get it deleted? So I think that there are a lot of things that we are not explaining well. So I think that we should just move into trying to what we can. We should at least start doing, or be like very conscious about us doing that. When there is a bigger like space, for example, like photo exhibitions that we have been using, then we are trying to write a bit more about the license. On social media, it's next to impossible. But if it's like you can, you're putting on a wall, then in the attribution part, you can mention about free license. That this picture is free to be used, if you mention author and everything like that. So again, it depends on the medium, but if you think that this is a problem, you should also start doing something about that. Meaning, if you have an opportunity, talk about free licenses. Every time that we have, for example, a picture where freedom of panorama is like a problem, somebody uploaded a picture of freedom of this copyrighted monument. When we are writing about this on blog post, on our blog, we do use that picture. We just blur the monument itself, and we use it as an opportunity. This is a winner, or this is somebody, and we cannot actually show it to you because there is freedom of panorama, and the advocacy efforts haven't yet given any results. In order, again, just to educate, just to keep repeating things that people don't pay attention to. But I agree with you, that's difficult. Okay, I think we are 1 minute left. Anybody else wants to share something before otherwise I would close the shop. Okay, thank you very much. You have been great test subjects for me to start talking about these things. And I hope that I can improve the material, and maybe next time you are going to you're going to be able to say, and I've been a part of the learning curve for this initiative to actually give some fruits. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nana, for this useful webinar and for the discussion as well, and to everyone who joined today. And if you still have a question, you can just ask the last one. If not, like, we will stop the recording. And have a nice day. We will send the recording of the webinar, of course, and you can share it with others or rewatch it. Bye.